The red dust of Mars swirled around Dr. Amanda Collins's boots as she carefully brushed away centuries of sediment from what looked like a metallic panel. Her heart raced with excitement. This was different from anything they'd found before. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the dig site, where dozens of researchers worked in careful patterns across the Martian valley. Dr. Collins called out her assistant, Peter Wright, his voice crackling through the radio in her helmet. "You need to see this." Amanda stood up, her joints stiff from hours of crouching. Through her helmet's visor, she could see Peter waving from another section of the dig site, about 50 meters away. He was standing next to what appeared to be an entrance, a perfect arch cut into the red rock face. As she made her way over, each step precise in the lower Martian gravity, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to find something big. After 5 years of searching, this might be the proof they needed. The arch stood 3 meters tall, its surface smooth and unmarked by age, despite being buried for thousands of years. Peter's lights illuminated symbols etched into the frame, definitely not human in origin. "Have you tried scanning it?" Amanda asked, running her gloved hand along the strange markings. "Yes, Mom. The readings are off the charts. Whatever this is, it's still generating power after all this time." Amanda pulled out her own scanner, checking the readings herself. The numbers didn't make sense. The energy signature was unlike anything in their database. "Call base camp," she ordered. "We need a full team out here before sunset." While they waited for backup, Amanda couldn't help but think about how this discovery would change everything. For years, she had argued that Mars once hosted an advanced civilization. Her colleagues had laughed, calling her theories impossible. Now she had proof. Meanwhile, near the orbit of Neptune, Lieutenant Robert Baker sat at the control station of the Earth patrol ship EDS Horizon. The endless black of space stretched out before him, broken only by the distant blue disk of Neptune. These patrols were usually quiet, mostly watching for ice pirates or monitoring research vessels. "Sir," called out Senior Officer Kelly Martinez from her sensor station, "I'm picking up something strange." Baker moved to look at her screen. "Define strange, Officer Martinez." "Energy readings, sir. They're similar to the ones we detected last month, but much stronger. And they're coming from inside Neptune's atmosphere." Baker frowned. They'd been tracking these mysterious energy spikes for weeks now. Each time, they disappeared before they could get close enough to investigate. Plot a course. "Let's see if we can catch this one before it vanishes." The EDS Horizon changed direction, its engines pushing it toward the massive blue planet. As they got closer, the energy readings grew stronger. "Sir," Martinez called out again, her voice tense. "The readings, they match something in our database." "What is it?" "According to this, they're identical to energy signatures recently discovered in the Martian ruins." Baker's eyes widened. In all his years of space patrol, he'd never encountered anything like this. He opened a channel to Earth Command. They needed to know about this connection. Back on Mars, Amanda stood inside what they now knew was an ancient control room. The walls were covered in displays that had somehow activated when they entered, showing star charts and diagrams she couldn't yet understand. A team of linguists worked nearby, trying to decode the alien text. Dr. Collins called Dr. Stephen Rogers, one of the linguists. "I think we've translated some of this. You're going to want to see it." Amanda walked over to where Rogers was working. He pointed to a section of text that glowed softly on the wall. "This talks about something called the Guardians or the Protectors," he explained. "From what we can tell, they were some kind of defense system. But here's the strange part. It says they were built by beings who came from Earth." Amanda stared at him in disbelief. "Earth? That's impossible. Human civilization isn't nearly old enough to have built any of this." "That's just it," Rogers said, his voice excited. "The text doesn't say humans built it. It talks about something else, something that came before us. And whatever they were, They were powerful enough to make the builders of this facility abandon our entire solar system. Before Amanda could respond, her communication device buzzed. It was a priority message from Earth Command, marked urgent. The message contained sensor data from a patrol ship near Neptune, showing energy readings that perfectly matched those from the Martian facility. Whatever they had awakened here had triggered something else out there in the darkness of the outer solar system. As she looked around the ancient control room, Amanda felt a chill run down her spine. They hadn't just discovered evidence of alien life. They had found proof that Earth itself held secrets far darker and more powerful than anyone had imagined. Dr. Collins, Peter called from another console. More displays are activating. They're showing some kind of countdown. Amanda rushed over to see holographic numbers floating in the air, counting down from what appeared to be 30 days. Below the numbers, a message flashed in the alien script. Rogers leaned in to translate. It says, "The nightmares will soon return." The room fell silent except for the soft hum of ancient machinery coming back to life. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, something was awakening. Something that had once been powerful enough to make advanced alien civilizations flee in terror. And whatever it was, it had originated from Earth. Later that night, in the temporary base camp, Amanda sat at her desk reviewing the day's findings. The initial reports were already causing waves back on Earth. Every space agency and military organization wanted access to the site. Her computer chimed with an incoming video call from Earth Command. On the screen appeared General Sarah Powell, her face grave. "Dr. Collins, we've received similar reports from Saturn and Jupiter. More facilities are activating. Whatever you found down there, it's triggering something across the entire solar system." Amanda nodded, her throat dry. "General, I think we've only scratched the surface. These facilities, this technology, it's all connected to Earth somehow, to our past." "What do you mean?" The translation suggests that Earth once housed a civilization so advanced that other species feared them. They built these facilities as some kind of defense network. But then something happened, and they just disappeared. The general was quiet for a moment. "Doctor, I'm authorizing a full expedition. Whatever secrets are buried out there, we need to find them before these nightmares return, whatever they are." After ending the call, Amanda walked to the window of her quarters. The Martian night sky stretched above her, stars twinkling in the clear atmosphere. Somewhere out there, ancient machines were waking up, responding to a signal they'd unknowingly triggered. She couldn't help but wonder, had they just discovered humanity's true heritage, or had they awakened something that was better left sleeping? The countdown continued silently in the facility below, marking the time until they would all find out. Dr. Jennifer Walsh stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The quantum readings made no sense. She had been studying the energy patterns from the newly discovered alien facilities for 3 weeks now, and what she was seeing should be impossible. "Run the test again," she told her lab assistant, Adam Parker. The young scientist nodded and started the sequence once more. They were in the main physics lab of the Lunar Research Station, the massive dome of the facility visible through the reinforced windows. Earth hung in the black sky like a blue jewel. The machines hummed as they ran the test again. The results were the same. "These energy patterns," Jennifer said, mostly to herself, "they're not alien at all. They match human brain waves. Advanced, complex human brain waves." Adam looked confused. "But that's impossible. These facilities are thousands of years old." Before Jennifer could respond, every screen in the lab suddenly lit up with the same symbol, a spiral pattern that seemed to pulse with its own light. The same symbol they'd found carved into the walls of the Mars facility. Her phone buzzed with an urgent message from Earth Command. Similar symbols were appearing in facilities all across the solar system. On the bridge of the EDS horizon, Lieutenant Robert Baker watched as massive structures emerged from within Jupiter's swirling clouds. The gas giant storms parted like curtains, revealing metal surfaces that stretched for kilometers. "All stations report," he ordered, keeping his voice steady despite his amazement. "Sir," Kelly Martin is called from her station. "These structures, they're bigger than anything we've ever built, and they're all activating at once." Through the chutes windows, they could see lights flickering to life across the enormous structures. What had looked like simple metal surfaces now glowed with patterns of energy that pulsed in perfect rhythm. "Lieutenant," called the ship's doctor, Alan Foster, "I need you in the medical bay. Something's happening to the crew." Baker found half his crew in the medical bay, all reporting the same thing: headaches and strange dreams. But what worried him most was that they were all drawing the same symbol, the spiral that now appeared on every screen. Back on Mars, Dr. Amanda Collins led a team deeper into the facility they discovered. More rooms had opened up, revealing vast chambers filled with technology that hummed with growing power. "Dr. Collins," Peter Wright called out, his voice echoing in the massive space, "we found something you need to see." She followed him to a circular room where a hologram floated in the center. It showed the solar system, but not as they knew it. Massive structures orbited every planet, all connected by lines of energy that pulsed like heartbeats. "It's a defense network," Amanda realized. "The whole solar system is one giant fortress." The hologram zoomed in on Earth, showing something that made Amanda's breath catch. Beneath the oceans, beneath the very crust of the planet, lay sleeping machines of impossible size. Dr. Rogers worked quickly to translate the text floating around the hologram. "It says these are dormant defense platforms. They're calling them the children of the nightmare. They were left behind by our ancestors." "Our ancestors?" Amanda asked. "How is that possible?" "According to this," Rogers continued, "Earth once housed a civilization so advanced they could reshape planets, but they faced enemies, other alien races that feared their power. So they built this defense network, spread it across the solar system. What happened to them?" Rogers' face grew pale as he read more. "They chose to forget. The text says they changed themselves, rewrote their own DNA to become simpler beings. They buried their weapons and technology, leaving behind only the genetic keys to reclaim them if needed. We're those simpler beings," Amanda whispered. "We're what they became." The countdown that had started weeks ago now showed less than 10 days remaining. In her lab on the moon, Jennifer Walsh finally understood what she was seeing. She rushed to the emergency conference call with Earth Command, her discovery too important to wait. "The energy patterns match human brainwaves because they're meant to," she explained to the gathered officials on her screen. "These facilities aren't alien, they're ours. They're reading our DNA, our brain patterns. They're waking up because they recognize us as the inheritors." General Powell's face showed concern. "Dr. Walsh, are you saying these weapons respond to human thought?" "Not just respond. They're bonding with us. The headaches, the dreams people are reporting. The system is trying to reconnect with human minds. It's looking for the right genetic markers, the ones our ancestors left in our DNA." "To what end?" "I think." Jennifer paused, knowing how crazy it would sound. "I think it's trying to teach us how to use it." On the EDS horizon, Lieutenant Baker watched as his crew members who had experienced the headaches began to understand the systems they were seeing. Officer Martinez could now read the symbols without translation. Others reported knowing exactly how the ancient machines worked, as if they'd always known. "It's like remembering something from a dream," Martinez tried to explain. "The knowledge was always there, buried in our genes. The systems are just helping us remember." Baker looked out at the massive structures rising from Jupiter's clouds. "Remember what?" "Remember what we once were," she said quietly. "What we might need to be again." In the Mars facility, Amanda found herself drawn to a specific chamber. Inside, she found what looked like a control chair, similar to others they'd discovered but somehow different. More important, as she approached it, the chair began to glow. Symbols appeared in the air around it, and for the first time, she could read them without translation. The knowledge simply appeared in her mind. Dr. Collins, Peter called out in warning. Are you sure you should? But Amanda was already sitting in the chair. The moment she did, the entire facility hummed with new energy. The hologram of the solar system appeared again, but now she could see it clearly. The full extent of what their ancestors had built. It wasn't just a defense network. It was a weapon of impossible power, capable of destroying entire star systems. And now it was awakening, responding to the presence of its creator's descendants. Through her connection with the chair, Amanda could feel other humans across the solar system linking with similar systems. Jennifer Walsh on the moon, Robert Baker near Jupiter, and dozens of others, all connecting with their forgotten inheritance. The countdown continued its steady march toward zero, and with each passing moment, more of the ancient systems awakened. Humanity was remembering what it once was, what it might need to become again. And somewhere out in the darkness between the stars, something was coming. Something that would test whether humanity was ready to reclaim the terrible power their ancestors had tried so hard to forget. The awakening was nearly complete. Soon, the galaxy would remember why ancient races once fled from Earth's system-destroying nightmares. And this time, humanity would be awake to witness it. The huge dark ships appeared at the edge of the solar system without warning. Their hulls gleamed like black glass, stretching for kilometers into space. Captain Christopher Hayes of the Earth Defense Force stood on the bridge of the EDS Guardian, watching as more alien vessels emerged from what looked like tears in space itself. How many? He asked his sensor officer, Paul Duncan. 30 ships so far, sir. All bigger than anything we've ever built. Paul's fingers moved quickly over his console. They're broadcasting something. A sound filled the bridge, a series of musical tones that the ship's computer quickly translated into words. We are the Zarkanian Empire. We come seeking the awakened ones. Christopher straightened his uniform. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was happening during his watch. Open a channel, he ordered. Before he could speak, another voice cut in. Dr. Amanda Collins, calling from the Mars facility. Captain Hayes, let me handle this. I understand more about what's happening than anyone else right now. Christopher nodded. The past week had taught him to trust the scientists who were connecting with the ancient systems. Channel's yours, Doctor. In the Mars control chamber, Amanda sat in the control chair, feeling the ancient technology respond to her thoughts. The chair helped her understand the alien language without translation. This is Dr. Amanda Collins of Earth, she broadcast. We are the ones you're looking for. The alien response came quickly. You have awakened the nightmare engines. Our histories speak of their power. We watched your system from afar, waiting for signs of their activation. You know about these weapons? Amanda asked. We fled from them long ago. Our ancestors faced their fury. Now we return, hoping to prevent their use again. On the Lunar Research Station, Dr. Jennifer Walsh worked frantically to understand the new data pouring in from the alien ships. Their technology was amazing, but something about it seemed familiar. Look at this, she told Adam Parker, pointing to her screen. Their ships use some of the same principles as our ancient systems, but they're less advanced. Adam looked confused. Less advanced. But their ships are huge. Size isn't everything, Jennifer explained. The technology our ancestors built, it's beyond anything these aliens have. That's why they're scared. Her computer beeped with an urgent message. The countdown they'd discovered had just dropped to 3 days. Lieutenant Robert Baker watched from the EDS horizon as more structures emerged from Jupiter's clouds. But now he understood what they were. Not just weapons, but shields to protect the inner solar system. Lieutenant, Kelly Martinez called out, the alien ships are staying at the edge of the system. They won't come closer. They're afraid, Robert realized. They remember what these defenses can do. Through the neural link he shared with the ancient systems, he could feel the weapons stirring, ready to respond if the aliens made any hostile moves. Back on the EDS Guardian, Captain Hayes received a new transmission from the alien fleet. This time, their leader appeared on the main screen. A tall being with silvery skin and 4 arms. "I am High Commander Vex of the Zarkanian Empire," the alien said. "We come to warn you. You do not understand the power you are awakening." "Then help us understand," Christopher replied. "Why did our ancestors build these weapons? What were they defending against?" The alien commander's expression changed to something like fear. "They built them because they could. Your ancestors, they were not like other races. They saw the universe as something to be shaped by their will. When others tried to stop them, they created weapons that could destroy entire star systems. And now these weapons are waking up," Christopher said. "Yes, we detected their activation. Others will come, those who fear these weapons, and those who wish to control them. You must choose how to proceed carefully." In the Mars facility, Amanda received a direct message from Earth Command. Unknown objects have been detected approaching from the opposite direction of the Zarkanian fleet. "More ships," Peter Wright reported, checking the readings. "But these are different. They're giving off energy signatures similar to our ancient weapons." Amanda felt a chill. Through her connection to the control chair, she could sense something familiar about these new arrivals. They're not afraid, she realized. They're excited. The new fleet sent no messages. They simply appeared at the edge of the solar system, their ships looking like they were made from pure energy. Through the chair, Amanda accessed the ancient records. What she found made her blood run cold. "They're the reason," she said. "They're why our ancestors built these weapons in the first place." "Who are they?" Peter asked. "The records call them the Vorath Collective. They were the ones who pushed our ancestors to create the nightmare engines. And now they're back." Jennifer Walsh watched from her lab as both alien fleets took up positions on opposite sides of the solar system. The Zarkanians stayed back, careful not to trigger any defenses, but the Vorath ships moved closer, seemingly unafraid. "They're scanning our defenses," she told General Powell over a secure channel. I think they want us to use the weapons." "Why would they want that?" the general asked. "Because they remember what these weapons can do. They want to see if we remember too." The countdown reached its final hours. Across the solar system, more ancient structures revealed themselves. Massive rings rose from Saturn's clouds. Hidden bases emerged from asteroids. Every piece of the ancient defense network was now active, responding to the presence of both alien fleets. Captain Hayes received orders from Earth Command. "Maintain position, but do not engage either alien force." They needed time to understand the situation. But as he watched the Vorath ships move closer to Earth's orbit, he wondered if they would have that time. Humanity had awakened something powerful, their own forgotten legacy. Now they had to decide how to use it. The Zarkanians feared these weapons, the Vorath wanted them awakened, and caught in the middle was humanity, slowly remembering that they were the descendants of beings so powerful that entire civilizations fled at the mention of their names. The final hours of the countdown ticked away. Soon, they would all learn if humanity was ready to reclaim their ancestors' legacy and face the consequences of awakening the nightmare engines once again. Dr. Amanda Collins moved through the newly discovered chamber deep within the Mars facility, her steps careful and slow. The walls around her played images of Earth's ancient past, but not the past she had learned about in history books. This was something else entirely. "Are you seeing this?" she asked over the radio to Peter Wright, who was monitoring her from the control room above. "Yes," he answered, his voice filled with wonder. "The whole room is like a giant library." The images showed a civilization that had mastered powers beyond imagination. Cities that floated in the sky, machines that could reshape planets, ships that traveled between stars as easily as walking through a door. And at the center of it all was Earth, not as a primitive world, but as the heart of an empire that spanned hundreds of star systems. In the Lunar Research Station, Dr. Jennifer Walsh stared at her computer screen as new data poured in from the ancient systems. The High Commander of the Zarkanian fleet had shared their historical records, and what she found shocked her. "These can't be right," she told Adam Parker, who looked over her shoulder at the numbers. "According to these records, Earth's ancient civilization existed over 50,000 years ago." "That's impossible," Adam said. "Human civilization isn't nearly that old." "Unless," Jennifer's eyes widened as she understood, "unless we're not as human as we think we are." On the bridge of the EDS Guardian, Captain Christopher Hayes listened as High Commander Vex explained their history. "Your ancestors called themselves the Shapers," the alien leader said, his silver skin reflecting the starlight. "They believed the universe existed to be molded by their will. Many worlds flourished under their guidance, but others feared them," Christopher finished. "Yes, the Shapers' power grew too great. They could destroy stars, move planets, create life itself. When other races tried to stop them, they created the nightmare engines, weapons that could unmake reality itself." Lieutenant Robert Baker felt a chill as he watched more Vorath ships arrive at the edge of the solar system. Through his neural link with Jupiter's defense systems, he could sense their intentions. "They're not here to stop us," he told Kelly Martinez. "They're here to make us remember." "Remember what?" "Remember why our ancestors built these weapons in the first place." Back in the Mars facility, Amanda reached the center of the chamber. A hologram appeared, showing a human-like figure dressed in flowing robes. "Greetings, inheritors," the figure said in perfect English. "If you are seeing this, then the genetic keys we placed in your DNA have activated. You are ready to learn the truth." Amanda held her breath as the figure continued. "We were the Shapers, the most advanced civilization this galaxy had ever known. We believed in helping other races grow, in guiding the evolution of life itself. But some saw our power as a threat." The hologram showed scenes of massive space battles, of entire solar systems erupting in light. "The Vorath Collective led the rebellion against us. They feared we would remake the universe in our image. In response, we created weapons that no race would dare challenge. The nightmare engines." "What happened then?" Amanda asked. "We won the war, but at a terrible cost. The weapons we created were too powerful, too terrible to exist. We faced a choice: continue as we were and risk becoming the very monsters others feared, or find another path." "You chose to forget," Amanda realized. "Yes, we used our technology one last time, not to destroy, but to change ourselves. We rewrote our own DNA, buried our technology, and became what you now know as modern humans. We gave ourselves a chance to evolve naturally, to learn wisdom before power." Jennifer's computer beeped with an urgent alert. She had finally decoded more of the ancient genetic markers in human DNA. "It's like layers," she explained to General Powell over a video call. "Our ancestors didn't just hide their technology. They hid their knowledge inside us. Each generation had the potential to remember, but only if we faced a great enough need. And now that need has come," the general said, looking worried. "Yes, the Vorath have returned, just as our ancestors planned. They're forcing us to remember who we really are." On the EDS Guardian, Captain Hayes received a transmission from the Vorath fleet. Their leader appeared on screen, a being made of swirling energy rather than flesh. "Children of the Shapers," the being said, its voice echoing strangely. "We have waited millennia for your awakening. Show us you remember. Show us the power that made the galaxy tremble." Christopher felt anger rise in his chest. "We're not your test subjects. We won't use these weapons just because you want us to." The being seemed to smile. "You already sound like them. So sure of your moral strength. But you will use the weapons. Because soon, you will have no choice." Amanda watched as the hologram showed one final scene, a gathering of the ancient Shapers as they prepared to give up their power. "We left you the means to defend yourselves," the figure said. "But we also left you our greatest lesson. Power without wisdom leads only to destruction. You must choose your path carefully. The hologram faded, leaving Amanda alone with the truth. Humanity wasn't just reaching for the stars. They were returning to them. They were the descendants of beings who had shaped the galaxy itself. But now they faced the same choice their ancestors had: how to use that power wisely. The countdown reached 0. Across the solar system, all the ancient weapons were now fully awake, waiting for commands from their inheritors. The Zarkanian fleet watched in fear, while the Vorath ships moved closer, eager to see what humanity would do with their recovered heritage. The truth had emerged. Humanity's ancestors had been powerful enough to make entire civilizations flee in terror. Now their descendants had to decide. Would they follow the same path, or would they find a better way? The answer would soon shake the galaxy once again. Admiral Lisa Martinez stood on the bridge of the EDS Valiant, watching as the Vorath fleet launched their first attack. Their energy ships moved like bright stars, burning their way past Neptune's orbit. All ships, battle stations, she ordered. The Earth Defense Fleet moved into position, forming a line between the approaching enemy and the inner solar system. "Admiral," her tactical officer said, "they're broadcasting a message." The Vorath leader's glowing form appeared on the main screen. "Show us your power, children of the Shapers. Show us you remember how to use your inheritance." Lisa's jaw tightened. "We don't need ancient weapons to defend our home. Then you will learn why your ancestors created them." The Vorath ships opened fire. Beams of pure energy cut through space, forcing the Earth fleet to scatter. In the Mars facility, Amanda Collins felt the attack through her connection to the control chair. The ancient defense systems were ready, waiting for commands, but she hesitated to use them. "Dr. Collins," Peter Wright called out, "more Vorath ships are coming through. They're everywhere." Through the facility sensors, she could see hundreds of enemy ships appearing around the solar system. This wasn't just an attack, it was an invasion. Her communication screen lit up with a call from Dr. Jennifer Walsh on the moon. "Amanda, I've finished analyzing their weapons. They're using technology similar to our ancestors, but less advanced. They learned from fighting the Shapers, copied their methods. Can we stop them without using the nightmare engines?" Amanda asked. "I don't think so. They're forcing our hand." Lieutenant Robert Baker watched from the EDS horizon as the Vorath fleet engaged Earth's ships near Jupiter. The ancient defense platforms hummed with power ready to be used. "Sir," Kelly Martinez reported, "our weapons barely affect their shields. We're losing ships." Through his neural link with the defense systems, Robert could activate weapons that would tear the enemy fleet apart. But the power scared him. It felt too easy, too tempting. "Lieutenant," Kelly called out, "they're targeting the civilian stations on Europa." Robert made his decision. He couldn't watch innocent people die when he had the power to stop it. He connected fully with the Jupiter defense platform, feeling its energy flow through him. A massive beam of light erupted from Jupiter's surface, cutting through 3 Vorath ships like they were made of paper. The enemy fleet paused their attack, seeming to reconsider. On the Lunar Research Station, Jennifer Walsh worked frantically to understand the full power of what they were awakening. "Adam," she called to her assistant, "look at these readings." The ancient weapons weren't just destroying ships, they were unmaking the very space the ships occupied. Each blast rewrote the laws of physics in a small area. "We have to be careful," she said, sending urgent messages to everyone connected to the defense systems. "These weapons don't just destroy, they'd break reality itself. One wrong move could tear apart the whole solar system." Admiral Martinez watched as more Earth ships fell to the Vorath weapons. Even with Robert Baker using Jupiter's defenses, they were losing the battle. "Admiral," her tactical officer shouted, "they're pushing toward Mars. They're going after the main facility." Lisa opened a channel to all Earth forces. "Fall back to Mars. Protect that facility at all costs." The Earth fleet retreated, drawing the Vorath deeper into the solar system. It was a dangerous move, but they had a plan. Amanda felt the battle approaching Mars. Through the control chair, she could sense every ship, every weapon, every life at stake. They're not just testing us, she realized, watching the Vorath movements. They're hurting us. They want us to use the worst weapons, the ones that can destroy entire systems. Peter looked worried. Why would they want that? Because they want to prove they were right about our ancestors. They want to show the galaxy it were too dangerous to exist. A new message came in from the Zarkanian fleet, still watching from the edge of the system. High Commander Vex's voice was urgent. The Vorath do not seek victory. They seek validation. They believe all powerful races eventually destroy themselves. They want you to prove them right. Amanda understood now. This wasn't just a battle for survival. It was a test of humanity's wisdom. Robert Baker felt the power of Jupiter's defenses growing stronger. He could destroy hundreds of enemy ships with a thought. But with each blast, the fabric of space became more unstable. Lieutenant, Kelly warned, the weapons are affecting Jupiter's core. If we keep using them at this power, we could tear the planet apart. Through his neural link, Robert could feel other defense platforms activating across the solar system. Each person connected to them faced the same temptation: to use more power, to strike harder. Jennifer's sensors showed the damage spreading. The weapons are too strong, she told General Powell. They're not just destroying ships, they're damaging space-time itself. If this continues, it could create a chain reaction. Can we shut them down? The general asked. I don't think that's an option anymore. The Vorath knew exactly what they were doing. They're forcing us to choose between destruction and surrender. On the bridge of the EDS Valiant, Admiral Martinez watched as the Vorath fleet surrounded Mars. Earth ships fought bravely, but they were hopelessly outnumbered. Admiral, her tactical officer reported, they're charging weapons. They're going to hit the facility. Lisa sent an urgent message to Amanda Collins. Doctor, we're out of options. Whatever you're going to do it now. In the Mars control chair, Amanda faced the moment of decision. The facility's sensors showed enemy weapons powering up, ready to destroy everything they'd discovered. Through her connection to the ancient systems, she could feel the full power of the nightmare engines waiting to be unleashed. One command would activate them all. One thought would show the Vorath why ancient races had fled from Earth's system-destroying weapons. But as her hand reached for the final control, she remembered the hologram's warning. Power without wisdom leads only to destruction. The Vorath weapons prepared to fire, and time seemed to slow as Amanda made her choice, one that would determine not just the fate of the battle, but whether humanity would repeat their ancestors' mistakes or find a new path forward. The crystals in the control room pulsed with power, waiting for her command. In the final seconds before the Vorath weapons fired, Amanda Collins made her decision. But it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of activating the nightmare engine's full power, she reached out through the control chair to every human connected to the ancient systems. Her voice echoed in their minds. Remember who we chose to be, not just who we were. Through their shared neural link, she showed them images from the facility's records, not of the Shaper's weapons, but of their greatest achievements. Cities that lived in harmony with nature, worlds where different species grew together, technologies that created rather than destroyed. We don't have to repeat their mistakes, she told them. We can show the galaxy something new. Lieutenant Robert Baker understood immediately. Through his connection to Jupiter's defenses, he changed the weapon's frequency. Instead of destroying the Vorath ships, the energy beam created a field that stopped their weapons from working. What are you doing? Kelly Martinez asked, watching in amazement as the enemy fleet's weapons went dark. Using these systems the way they were meant to be used, Robert answered. Not as weapons, but as tools to shape reality itself. Dr. Jennifer Walsh saw the change in her readings. They're not breaking space-time anymore, she told Adam Parker. They're stabilizing it. Across the solar system, the ancient defense platforms changed their purpose. Instead of weapons, they became anchors, creating zones where the laws of physics could be locally controlled. The Vorath ships found themselves unable to use their energy weapons. Their copy technology was no match for the original systems working at full power. Admiral Lisa Martinez watched from the EDS Valiant as a strange peace fell over the battlefield. The Vorath fleet hung motionless, caught in fields of altered space. "What just happened?" her tactical officer asked. "We remembered something important," Lisa said, understanding flowing through the neural link. "Our ancestors didn't become powerful by destroying. They became powerful by learning to control the very fabric of reality." In the Mars facility, Amanda stood from the control chair. Through the facility's windows, she could see the Vorath fleet trapped in bubbles of altered spacetime. "You wanted to see our power," she broadcast to the Vorath leader. "This is what it truly means to be children of the Shapers. We don't have to destroy to prove our strength." The Vorath leader's glowing form appeared in the facility. "You could have destroyed us all. Why didn't you?" "Because that's what you wanted. You wanted us to prove we were monsters, just like you thought our ancestors were, but you never understood them, or us." High Commander Vex of the Zarkanian fleet moved his ships closer, watching with interest. "The Shapers of old would have destroyed them without hesitation," he said over the comm. "You truly are something new." "We remember our ancestors' power," Amanda replied. "But we also remember why they chose to forget. They gave us a chance to learn wisdom before reclaiming their strength." Dr. Jennifer Walsh finally understood the full scope of what they had inherited. The Nightmare engines were never meant to be pure weapons, she explained to General Powell. They were tools for reshaping reality. Our ancestors used them for destruction because they felt they had no choice. We just proved there's always another way. Through her computer, she watched as the ancient systems retuned themselves across the solar system. The weapons became tools again, their true purpose restored. The Vorath leader's form flickered as it spoke. "For millennia, we waited for your kind to wake up. We expected the same monsters we fought before. Instead you found humans," Amanda said. "We may have our ancestors' power, but we're not them. We've learned from their mistakes." She reached out through the control systems, releasing the Vorath ships from their spacetime bubbles. "You're free to go. Tell the galaxy what you saw here. Tell them that Earth's nightmares have awakened, but they're not what anyone expected." In the days that followed, humanity began to truly understand their inheritance. The ancient systems weren't just for defense, they were tools for creation. Through them, humans could reshape planets, create new elements, even fold space itself. Robert Baker used Jupiter's platforms to stabilize the gas giant storms, creating new zones where humans could safely build cities in the clouds. Jennifer Walsh discovered how to use the quantum technologies to clean Earth's pollution and reverse climate change. The Zarkanian Empire offered alliance instead of fear, recognizing that humans had found a balance their ancestors never achieved. 1 month after the battle, Amanda Collins stood in the Mars facility's main chamber with Captain Christopher Hayes. The room now served as a teaching center, where humans learned to use their inherited powers responsibly. "Do you think we made the right choice?" Christopher asked, watching young students learn to manipulate spacetime through the neural interfaces. Amanda smiled. "Our ancestors gave us 2 gifts, their power and the wisdom to know when not to use it. We honored both." Through the facility's windows, they could see construction beginning on Mars' surface. The ancient technologies were being used to terraform the planet, but slowly, carefully, in harmony with what was already there. "The galaxy feared our ancestors' nightmares," Amanda said, "but we showed them something different. Dreams instead of nightmares. Creation instead of destruction." High in Earth orbit, Admiral Martinez stood on her new ship, built with a combination of human innovation and Shaper technology. The vessel wasn't a warship, but an exploration craft, designed to reach out to new worlds. "Ready to make history?" she asked her crew. The ship's engines hummed to life, using the same power that once made galaxies tremble. But this time, That power would be used to explore, to learn, to grow. The ancient races had fled when Earth's system-destroying nightmares appeared. But now they returned as allies, drawn by a new vision of what power could mean. Humanity had awakened their ancestors' legacy, but they had also awakened something else, the wisdom to use that legacy not to destroy, but to build a better future for all species. The nightmares had become dreams, and the galaxy would never be the same.